Hello, and welcome to this episode of Moments in Credit Union History, sponsored by CUNA Mutual. My name is Stephanie Smith, and I am the Executive Director of America's Credit Union Museum. We think it's important here at the museum to capture those histories that are significant to the movement, and one of those histories that we're proud to share today is the Illinois Credit Union League. It's my pleasure to welcome to the show Mr. Tom Kane. Hi,
Thank you,
Tom.
Stephanie. Hi, how
Thanks
are you
for
doing?
joining us.
Absolutely.
So I know that the Illinois League has recently celebrated an anniversary. You've been around for a while.
90 years, yeah.
90 years. Almost a full century. So the Illinois League is one of the oldest leagues in the country. Is that true?
That's true. Yep. Yeah, we
Absolutely.
were formed during the height of the Great Depression, believe it or not.
Excellent.
So,
So tell me a little bit about, those early years of the credit union history. I'm sure that you weren't there in person, but you could probably do a little justice to that story.
no, unfortunately, I only have 17 years in here, which actually makes me a relative newbie in the history of credit unions in Illinois. So actually, we have 233 credit unions right now. But back then, when the first credit union was formed in 1925. So it was a little employee credit union that still exists today, but not in Illinois. It ended up being moved. So those early days were mostly they were postal and railroad credit unions, and most of them were in the city of Chicago, as you can probably imagine. And so it's interesting though, because out of those first credit unions, we almost have none of the railroad ones, as you can imagine. Railroad credit unions and railroads had a pretty hard time starting in the Depression, but out of those first early credit unions, of the 10 oldest credit unions that we have, 6 of them are still the original postal credit unions that were formed in the first couple of years of the Credit Union Act being passed here in Illinois. So, and the crazy thing is that the first early league president that was here just went on a total tear as far as trying to sign up credit unions. The joke at the time, I guess, was that if you found 2 guys on the street corner talking, you'd form a credit union. So at one time, we had 12 field representatives, and their primary goal was just to form credit unions. So we ended up, the high water mark was 1,746 back in 1967. And we averaged more than 75 new credit unions a year in the decade after the war. So they were just cranking them out one after the other. But really, starting in about 1975, then the trajectory went downward, and now we're at the 233. But one of the unique things about Illinois, though, was the number of state chartered credit unions. We still have the most state charters. I think we're probably 4 or 5 in the number of credit unions, but we still have the most state chartered credit unions in the country, and a lot of little credit unions too. I mean, even nowadays, 40% of our credit unions are under $10 million in assets. So a lot of those ones still hung on and still faith-based. I mean, a lot of the original charters of faith-based credit unions, postal, municipal employees, those kind of ones are still hanging in there. So
I think that it's an incredible story that from many. There's a famous quote in the credit union realm of "from many littles become a much," and I think
right.
that the Illinois credit unions certainly are a testament to that statement. I also notice in doing some research for these shows that there's an awful lot of people come out of Illinois and go on to really great things within the credit union movement. There's been some key players that tie their roots back to Illinois.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it was for a while there. Actually, NCUA has gotten a lot of people from Illinois. So for a while there, it was interesting because we had Ed Callahan, Chip Filson, and Bucky Sebastian, all serving in different. Certainly, Ed Callahan running the NCUA, and Chip Filson. In the roles that he had with the NCUA and Bucky Sebastian, they all worked together, which is incredibly in the Illinois Department of Financial Regulation. So they oversaw the credit union. So all 3 of those guys at the same time were there before they went on, and obviously Chip. And I mean, they helped found Callahan Associates, but ran NCUA, managed the National Credit Union or the NCUA's insurance fund, see what other, oh, the central liquidity facility. So, and the foundation, CUNA's foundation. So there was a lot of, I think, people that served in CUNA Mutual, and the NCUA. And of course, the other big person that we had come out for the NCUA was Mike Friesel. So Mike joined NCUA back as a director, or as the chairman back in 2008, and immediately got hit with the financial crisis. So he wasn't in office for very long before he ended up having to deal with that. And I think, as one of my predecessors, probably the most famous one from a national perspective was the great Dick Ensweiler, the legendary Dick Ensweiler.
The legend.
Yes, he was only, we have the first 4 league presidents served for 82 years between the 4 of them. And Dick actually had the shortest tenure, but I think had the greatest state and national impact in that decade that he served, because he started up our foundation, he started up our political action committee, he was instrumental in putting together the corporate credit union. And so obviously Dick went on to a lot of other great things after he left the Illinois League, but just did a wonderful job in his time when he was here. So yeah, we've done a lot of contributions then to the greater movement coming out of Illinois then.
That's fabulous. So there's clearly something in the water in Illinois that speaks to the cooperative movement. So tell me, what are the big plans for the 100-year celebration? What's the Illinois
Well, first
League?
of all, I'm not sure if I'm going to be around for that. But we're looking to, one of the things that we've been able to do over the years, and this, Dick, again, was really a key instrumental in getting this done, is really building up our service corporation. So that's, kind of one of our big focuses always. We certainly, I think, do a wonderful job here in the state. With all of our state charters, we do a lot of changes to our state act and that kind of thing, do a lot of good things in the league side, but really we're focusing on trying to get our business subsidiary, LSC, and to get that to grow, because we actually serve more than 2,000 credit unions right now in some way or another with our LSC. So that is really sort of our future is focused on how do we, and particularly with smaller credit unions, because that's one of the key focuses for LSC with our card programs, is how to make those available to small credit unions that otherwise may not be able to offer those products to their members. So yeah, it seems like in some ways it seems like a long ways away, but you know how that goes. Time goes
Absolutely.
very fast,
Don't
particularly as you
blink.
get older. Exactly.
Yeah, so I think that, certainly LSC is a great example of leagues, finding a need within their membership and addressing that. And I wish you folks all the best. And
Yeah,
thank you for sharing a little bit of the league history with us today.
absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.